You want it to make you think, you want it to make you feel. What matters is that we talk about it. So many issues and so many sides. What do you think? It is confusing. It's been going on for decades, and tonight the clock is now ticking. Thanks for meeting me here at 6:30 Central. I'm Dawn Scott. So focus your attention with me tonight on Little Rock School District, one that has quite a storied past. And today, students in the state-controlled district showed dramatic support for their educators. The State Board of Education that controls the LRSD voted to end recognition of the teachers union in this district. A work stoppage now could be in the cards next week, and as details about the future of the district begin to emerge, students took today to add their voices to the debate. THV 11's Rolly Hoyt followed the developments for us, and he is here live.
Yeah, Dawn, students and supporters had circled today's date on the calendar as a day to stage some kind of protest. In the end, 3,400 kids called in sick to school. That's just about 15% total enrollment for the entire district. Now, we've heard stories today about some classes having just 2 or 3 students in them. It's hard to say how many of those 3,400 made a statement by their absence, but about 50 of them made their voices heard for sure at the state capitol. They hope to get an audience with Governor Asa Hutchinson. They started gathering around 1 o'clock just outside his office. With so many things in social media this age, that's when the live streams started. The crowd started to swell over about a half hour's time. They stormed into the governor's office, prompted by adults with familiar faces in this long-running debate. They did not have an appointment. They got permission to have a couple of them stay in the reception area. The rest voiced mostly frustration in the hall outside. Now, a high-ranking member of the governor's staff pledged to take a message to the governor. One student and his father managed to set an appointment time to meet with him later this week. Today's Sick Out also.
Rolly Hoyt, thank you. Today's Sick Out also extends an already long weekend for those 3,400 students. There are no classes tomorrow or Friday for fall break. I want to take you back now to the very beginning of this local control debate and provide a timeline so we can all understand where we are now and just how we got here. On January 28th of 2015, the state took control of Little Rock School District, all because of consistently low test scores at 6 of the schools. The Level 5 intensive support, as it's called, was supposed to last 5 years, expiring this upcoming January. In the meantime, though, state and federal laws changed. Arkansas was under a Bush-era education guideline known as No Child Left Behind. In 2017, the laws changed to what's called the Every Student Succeeds Act. That changed the exit criteria for returning LRSD to local control. Now fast forward to this year. In August, the State Board of Education identified 3 options for the district and began hosting meetings for parents and educators to share their opinions. In October, the board unanimously voted to bring back local control to Little Rock School District by next November and strip the teachers union of its collective bargaining power. Just yesterday, we found out how the board plans to give back local control, and though nothing is set in stone, it does provide a framework to move ahead. Well, that memorandum is just a draft. It will likely change considerably once Little Rock's mayor weighs in and once the state gets public comment. The board meets again November 14th when this draft could be revised. Well, this all started with failing Little Rock schools, and a new report out today actually shows students across the United States are scoring poorly in math and reading, despite Common Core, increased testing, and stricter teacher evaluations. Since 2017, the National Assessment of Education Statistics says scores have dropped for 8th graders specifically. This report card also shows the gap has grown wider between the most and the least competent students. In Arkansas, only 27% of 8th graders are at or above proficient levels in mathematics and 30% for reading. So here we are. And Little Rock School District Superintendent Michael Poore with me tonight for a deeper conversation about local control, these state guidelines, and the students and teachers who are caught right in the middle of this. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be on your new set and then to cover this important topic.
You know, let's start with the students today. They really wanted their voices heard as well. And why do you think this is? This is almost unheard of, that they would skip school and take their message to the governor's office. What's your reaction to this?
Well, you know, civic engagement is a positive thing. And our kids really understand what's going on in their schools, what's working, what's not working. And so their voice is an important part of any discussion.
Yeah, it sure is. Teachers' voices are important as well. They're so upset that their union is not being recognized. Are they planning a strike? What do you know about this?
Well, we don't know that yet right now, whether or not that there will actually be a work stoppage of any kind. That still has to play out. We do know that there are several things that I think are important to teachers. Last year, just at this very time, a year ago, we were talking about teacher fair dismissal. That is a restored right now. And remember, just a year ago when it was taken away, it was only Little Rock and Pine Bluff that had that privilege yanked. Now it's back, and so that's a key thing that I hope our teachers appreciate that did occur with the state board.
You know, Superintendent, you actually had a meeting with Commissioner Key today. Did anything fruitful come out of that meeting?
It did. We had the chance to talk about the memorandum of understanding that's just come out, and of course, we meet on a regular basis, just like I would if I had a board president in all my previous districts. And so we talk about a lot of different things, but today one of the topics was the memorandum of understanding. And you know, the key thing about that is that if people really go look at it, I think it's being picked apart a little bit right now because they're thinking, well, this is what it's not saying, but they ought to look at it very carefully. It's bringing local control back, in my mind, in a full way. With only two restrictions. The two restrictions being, one, that while under level 5 support, that local board can't make a decision about who the superintendent is. So that remains with the commissioner. Second thing is that while under level 5, the Little Rock Education Association can't come back as the bargaining unit. Okay? So those are the two restrictions. In all of the things, there's nothing in that document that makes the new Little Rock board have any less privileges or restrictions than any other board in the whole state.
Very interesting. You know, all I have to do is open up Twitter, any other social media, and you'll see just anger coming from both sides, vitriol and just hate. And it seems really that, you know, in this instance, a line has been drawn in the sand. You're on one side or you're on the other. But in reality, we're not going to get anything done that way. And we've got to see that we've got to come somehow to some agreement in the middle and recognize that it's our students who are the balance here.
Well, one of the things that got lost in the shuffle at the state board meeting, where they made the decision to return to local control and also took away the bargaining rights for Little Rock Education Association, prior to that whole discussion and action by the board, there was about 40 minutes of just positives being shared about the district. Great things about the data trends. We have schools improving performance in a variety of areas in reading and mathematics. We improved on our growth scores, which is the one that educators value the most. We have things that last year occurred where we had so many instances of being audited. Okay, we got audited like I've never been in my life.
Sure.
But the word was that our staff, our teachers, our principals, it wasn't about excuses. It wasn't about trying to argue. It was about how can we get better. And that has been our mentality. And that's a concern, of course, for me, that I want us to continue that work because we have great things happening in this district.
We're about out of time, but quickly, and I'm a parent of the district, in full disclosure, 2 students in your schools. How can you reassure us in these coming days and weeks that the schools are okay?
Well, you know, I've personally been in the schools in and out like I always am, especially for these last 2 or 3 weeks. And I have to give credit to our administrators, our teachers, our classified employees. The school is happening right now. And so there are positive things going on. I haven't felt anything weird about the culture. Hugged up on a Little Rock Education member that won an award earlier this week and saw others working all the time. So, you know, there are good things happening in the classroom and we want that to continue.
Superintendent Poore, thank you so much for being here. I hope we can continue this conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Back with more of 6:30 Central right after this.